HOA officers trespassed into my private armory. They're now facing federal charges. What would you do if you caught your HOA board breaking into your home, claiming they had the right to snoop through your private property? That's the nightmare I lived through when the Pineview Estates HOA board crossed a line they couldn't uncross. It started with a gut-wrenching discovery. Security footage of 3 board members sneaking into my backyard shed where I legally store my firearms, and ended with federal agents hauling them away in cuffs. This is a story of overreach, betrayal, and justice served cold. It all began 6 months ago when I moved into Pineview Estates, a quiet gated community in rural Pennsylvania. As a retired Marine and licensed firearms collector, I built a secure shed in my backyard to house my small but valuable armory. The shed was locked tight, alarmed, and compliant with every state and federal regulation. I informed the HOA upfront about its purpose during the property approval process, citing my legal rights under Pennsylvania law. They grumbled but approved it, and I thought that was the end of it. Little did I know, Karen Whitaker, the HOA president, had other plans. Karen was the kind of person who thrived on control. She'd patrol the neighborhood with a clipboard, citing residents for unapproved mailboxes or slightly overgrown lawns. Whispers at community meetings painted her as a tyrant, but I kept my head down. That changed when I got a cryptic email from the HOA. Concerns have been raised about unsafe storage practices at your property. Please schedule an inspection. I replied, politely but firmly, that my shed was private, secure, and off-limits without a warrant. The response? Silence. But the next week, my security cameras caught something chilling. At 2 a.m., Karen and 2 other board members, Tom Reynolds and Linda Hayes, crept into my backyard. The footage was crystal clear. Tom jimmied the shed's lock while Karen stood watch, clutching a flashlight. Linda snapped photos inside, where my firearms were neatly racked. They spent 10 minutes poking around before slipping away. My blood boiled. This wasn't just a violation of HOA rules, it was trespassing, breaking and entering, and a direct attack on my constitutional rights. I called the police the next morning, but the real bombshell came when I contacted a lawyer friend, Mike, who specialized in Second Amendment cases. Mike's jaw dropped when he saw the footage. This isn't just a local issue, he said. If they accessed your firearms without permission, they've potentially violated federal laws under the Gun Control Act. He explained that unauthorized access to a federally licensed firearms collection could trigger charges, especially if the HOA tried to misrepresent their actions. We filed a complaint with the ATF and I handed over the security footage. What happened next was a masterclass in karma. The ATF didn't mess around. They launched an investigation, interviewing me and my neighbors. That's when an unexpected twist came from Mrs. Jenkins, the sweet retiree next door. She'd overheard Karen bragging at a book club about taking care of that gun nut and planning to report me to the county for illegal weapons. Mrs. Jenkins, a lifelong NRA member, recorded the conversation on her phone and handed it to the agents. Karen's own words painted her as the ringleader, driven by a vendetta against me for daring to exercise my rights. The ATF cross-referenced the footage with HOA emails, uncovering a paper trail of Karen's obsession. She'd been emailing board members for weeks, claiming I was a danger to the community without a shred of evidence. The confrontation came at the next HOA meeting, and it was glorious. Karen, Tom, and Linda strutted in, oblivious to the storm brewing. I stood up, projector ready, and played the security footage for the entire room. Gasps rippled through the crowd as Karen's face drained of color. "This is a misunderstanding," she stammered. "We were ensuring community safety, but the residents weren't buying it." One neighbor shouted, "You broke into his home." Another demanded their resignations. Then, the doors swung open, and ATF agents walked in. The room fell silent as Karen, Tom, and Linda were read their rights and escorted out. The charges? Trespassing, breaking and entering, and federal violations for unauthorized access to a licensed firearms collection. The fallout was swift and brutal. Karen's reputation crumbled. Her real estate business, built on her community leader persona, tanked as clients dropped her. Tom, a local accountant, lost his job when his firm caught wind of the scandal. Linda, the quietest of the trio, issued a tearful apology, claiming she was just following Karen's lead. But it didn't save her from the legal consequences. The HOA itself faced a class action lawsuit from residents fed up with years of overreach, and I was elected interim president to clean up the mess. My first act? Rewriting the bylaws to limit board authority and protect homeowner privacy, citing Pennsylvania's Uniform Planned Community Act. The trial is ongoing, but the evidence is ironclad. Mike says the trio could face up to 7 years in federal prison if convicted on all counts. For me, this isn't just about punishment, it's about sending a message. HOAs exist to serve communities, not to play dictator. My firearms were never a threat, but Karen's power trip was. I sleep better now, knowing my home is secure and my rights are intact. This fight showed me that standing up for what's right can shake a community awake. It's easy to let petty tyrants like Karen run roughshod, but when you push back with truth and evidence, they crumble. I'm sharing this story to inspire others to know their rights and hold overzealous HOAs accountable. Have you ever dealt with an HOA that crossed the line? What's your take on where the balance should lie between community rules and personal freedom? Share your thoughts. I am all ears.